Oh, hi, everybody. What is it? It is August 18, 2024. I hope that all of you are doing okay. For those who are not, I, I'm just really sorry. Yeah, analog synth player, Goy goddess. But it is in society where degeneration flourishes, so how does that quote, connecting morality to society make sense? Well, if we're alone, we don't have to worry too much about morality. I mean, alone. But it's also when society breaks down, when social contacts break down, when the social contract with one another breaks down, that means morality is breaking down. So I hope that's enough, but I'll maybe go into it a little bit later. Sandra, hello. What we are living right now. We don't have we have an incredibly sick and disturbed, narcissistic, psychopathic killer society. And I think what Durkheim meant was not that kind of society. But I can't get into his head. Hi, Tony Punch, Alicia DeMoss, Amber Eyes, James B., Angelos, Shauna Howard, Oracle 11, Andrew Cruz, BMCC, and Mama Rages. Hey, nice to see you, Mama Rages. Okay, not too many people in the chat. All right, let's just get to radar, shall we? Yeah. Looking good, huh? Look at all of these nanobots activating up here in Michigan, traveling into Indiana and Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York. Oh, God, I hate it. Kentucky, Tennessee. You got your Alabama and Georgia nanobots activating into supercells. Dangerous looking supercells here in Arkansas. You've got these extremely low frequencies blasting away in Missouri, and they seem to be evaporating this weather front. But what do we have right on the border? Arkansas. Dangerous supercells. Okay, so let's just check out. No tornado warnings, but again, does it matter? No, because you've got severe weather for Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Montana, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. The counties in Arkansas, you got Clark, Dallas, Hot Spring. Pennsylvania, Lancaster. Arkansas, Cleveland. You've got more counties in Cleveland. Desha, Drew, Lincoln, Georgia, Emmanuel County. Another county, Grant County in Arkansas. Alabama, Wilcox. Georgia, Stewart, Webster. Montana, Beaverhead County. Georgia, Houston, and Peach. Wow. Arkansas, well, that doesn't surprise me at all, considering what we are looking at, these very dangerous supercells covering an awful lot of area in Arkansas. So, Benton, Crawford, Madison, Washington, Arkansas, that's it. Got a lot of counties. May have some people that watch this live who are in these counties, and if you are, pay very close attention to your weather and be prepared for anything. Alabama, you got Dallas and Landis and Marengo and Perry County. North Carolina, you got Davidson, Guilford, Montgomery, Randolph, and Stanley. Georgia, more counties, Bibb, Houston, Twiggs, Georgia, Jefferson, Johnson, Washington counties. Wow. More counties in Arkansas, Cleveland, Jefferson, Lincoln. Alabama, you got Henry and Clay, Quitman. Georgia, you got Randolph. Alabama, more counties, Bullock, Macon, Russell, and Barber. And be very careful, because severe weather, well, we know what severe weather can bring about, right? Yes, we do. It can bring about tornadic activity. It can bring about flash flooding. It can bring about straight line winds. It can bring about baseball-sized hail. It can bring about very destructive weather. So, and we're seeing destructive weather all over the place that are really hurting and destroying people's lives. Okay? So, take it very seriously. Super Painting 62. And is it Earl Rick Bergman? I'm so sorry for not pronouncing your name correctly. Silent Walk, hello. Rage Against the Machine, and Jay Northrup. And Mama Rages, we got a few rain bombs today. And nothing but very small storm cells. Nothing like I have ever seen. Wow. All right. So, let's get to it. Connecticut. Yeah, Connecticut. Oh, God. Flash floods. And they claim that this is because the drainage, the rain just overpowered the drainage system. I think people need to start questioning that drainage system that they have. There was another Connecticut. Okay, I'm going to get it. But really, Connecticut now. All right, so I need to go to history. I just saw it. Well, where was it? Oh, this is on Never Lose Truth. No, it should be Never Lose Truth 5. Severe flooding affecting areas in Connecticut. And the effect, if I'm remembering correctly, Fairfield County used to be one of the most affluent areas in the country. So, for those who still think that it's only the poor who are getting destroyed by the weather, you are so wrong. Please, please take a look at what's happening, because it's not just the poor. Connecticut.
Into Fairfield County, Connecticut. And that's where my colleague Lucy Yang is right now. She's in Danbury right now. And even though the rainfall has tapered off a little bit there, at least for the time being, it looks like the damage has already been done, Lucy.
Well, that's right, Jeff. We just arrived here in Danbury, Connecticut, where you can see the street behind me is still flooded. This is Memorial Drive in Fairfield County. Danbury police have put up barricades to keep drivers from going into this flooded section of the roadway. The last thing they need are cars getting stalled and folks getting trapped in their vehicles. There was a fire rescue boat parked here, but just before the hour, the fire department came and moved it. I guess they needed the vehicle. The problem with all this rainfall is that so much fell in such a short period of time. As Jeff Smith told us, 10 inches of rain came pouring into Fairfield County. Here in Danbury, at least 4 inches, and drainage simply could not keep up. So here you have it, sitting water. We also had a crew on Wildman Street getting more video of flooded roadways. We are hearing reports of mudslides and apartment evacuations, and we will have more details on that tonight. But for now, you can see it is just a little bit drizzling again, but this street remains underwater. So please drive with caution
and the water just sits there. Okay. Danbury, I would say, is not one of the most affluent towns in our country. Maybe it's Fairfield, Connecticut, not the county. Oh, you guys in Connecticut, let us know. Or New England. All right, so, yeah, people aren't having a fun time of it. 2 minutes ago, I can't stand these titles. They're such clickbait. I click on it not because I've been baited, but because these are the weather channels that I subscribe to. Unprecedented flooding hit Toronto and Mississauga.
Flooding and power outages were reported in parts of Toronto and Mississauga after severe thunderstorms hit the region.
Oh my God.
Flooding from Saturday's heavy rains led to several road closures and the diversion of some TTC bus routes, particularly in Mississauga, Etobicoke, and North York. Several people also had to be rescued from their cars after getting stuck in flooded roads, according to police and emergency officials. Flooded roads and power outages were reported in West End, Toronto, and Mississauga after severe thunderstorms hit the region on Saturday. The rain also left thousands without power in the Northwest GTA, including Richmond Hill and Markham, through Saturday afternoon, according to Toronto Hydro and Electra. The Rathwood neighborhood in Mississauga recorded 68 millimeters of rain in an hour, according to the Weather Network, which the network said could pose a risk to those in the area or near fast-moving bodies of water such as Little Etobicoke Creek. Near Toronto Pearson International Airport, Convair Drive between Renforth Road and Britannia Road near Toronto was closed by police, according to a post on the airport's X account. 50 to 100 millimeters of rain through Sunday. The rain warning noted that flash flooding could see 50 to 100 millimeters of rain through Sunday. The rain warning noted that flash flooding and standing water on roads were possible due to the heavy rain, something that has become commonplace in the GTA after major flooding on July 16th and other similar incidents over the past month. Similar rainfall warnings were issued for the Mississauga-Brampton and Vaughan Richmond Hill-Markham areas. The wet weather comes as many outdoor festivals and events are underway, including the first weekend of the annual Canadian National Exhibition. Environment Canada meteorologists are tracking severe thunderstorms that could produce strong wind gusts, nickel-sized hail, and heavy rain. The severe thunderstorm band is located from Bolton to Etobicoke to Carlisle, moving.
Oh man, it just never stops, huh? Never stops. Roads reopen following heavy rain in Toronto area.
In the Toronto area following all of that rainfall yesterday. And I'll show you some of those scenes, as you say, in Mississauga. And you can see that scene right there where firefighters actually helped rescue a stranded pedestrian who was clinging to a light standard there near the city limits with Toronto. So some scary scenes for that person, certainly. The downpour caused localized flooding in a number of areas. In the city of Toronto, or the city of Mississauga rather, actually says it got up to 138 millimeters of rain yesterday. So just an incredible amount. And that all creeks and rivers there were either at capacity or overflowing.
Oh, it's the same old, same old. And, you know, Canadians are in the same economic boat as all of us in Western countries, but Canadians have been hit so hard, I have to wonder how the hell are they going to recover? Patagonia, which is where I lived when I first moved to Arizona, significant flash flooding. This is just, a riverbed, I guess, but couldn't find anything else on Patagonia. I hope that the flash flood just stayed right there, didn't cause anybody problems. One popular produce growing in Colorado is fighting for survival. Genetically modified corn.
Colorado home to a lot of great foods that we enjoy, like Pueblo green chilies, Rocky Ford cantaloupe, Palisade peaches, all my favorites.
Yeah, right. But at least one kind of popular produce grown on the western slope is fighting for survival, facing obstacles on several fronts. Your reporter of the mountain, Spencer Wilson, traveled to Olathe and checks up on the farmers who are producing our Olathe sweet corn.
You're probably used to seeing Olathe sweet corn in our local grocery stores here in Colorado, but you might have seen less of it last year. It's because of multiple different challenges that they're fighting out here in southwestern Colorado. This is sweet corn harvest, picking ears, putting them in boxes, taking them into the shed.
It's a little different this year on Tuxedo Farms. Now, pickers need to check for corn earworms, who have found their way to Colorado and devastated the crop yields. At least this year, they knew what to expect fighting the bug. Last year, their efforts to control the worm were even less successful.
We went from being successful to completely being unsuccessful.
Oh, the many, many ways in which they can destroy the farmers. And I always like when they show the migrants picking, the corn and checking out the corn. They have so many automatic machines that do the harvesting now that if you're, a big farmer like this, I think is probably a very big farmer, they probably don't have migrants just picking, the corn, that they have the machines doing it. Water main break floods Montreal streets. This was 2 days ago. Water main breaks are happening everywhere. Why? Electromagnetic frequencies pulsing through the ground. Getting all of the drainage systems flooded up. Look at this. Wow. Oh, that's a pretty big water main break, I'd say. Look at all of these cars. Okay, so 7 minutes. They all do this. I have to wonder if all of these channels are either copying other weather channels or that they're operated by the same, entity. 7 minutes ago in Russia. Okay, powerful earthquake, a 7 on the Richter scale, and volcano eruption in Russia.
On Sunday morning, Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula experienced a rare and devastating combination of natural disasters. A magnitude 7.0 earthquake struck near Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, sending shockwaves throughout the region. This seismic event triggered a violent eruption of the Shiveluch volcano, launching a massive ash plume 8 kilometers into the sky. The eruption caused significant disruptions to air and ground transportation due to widespread ashfall. While Kamchatka is known for its volcanic activity, the simultaneous earthquake and volcanic eruption is an extraordinary occurrence. the Russian government has issued warnings advising residents and tourists to exercise extreme caution and follow official guidelines.
Oh boy. I hope that some of you are remembering what I posted last night or maybe 2 nights ago. How much flooding has been taking place, how many volcanoes are erupting, how many earthquakes that we are seeing all over the world. County says complaints are pouring in over odor at the border.
Yeah, the county's Air Pollution Control District did send a violation notice to the International Boundary and Water Commission. They are responsible for this pumping station right here along Hollister Street. Now, the county's hope is that this notice leads to some swift change.
He is just a lover boy.
Priscilla Thompson and her horse Gunner live right along the Tijuana River Valley.
With my treat bags, he's there.
Now he's being friendly.
It's where the sea meets the sewage, and with it comes a foul stench.
There are times at night where the odor, it can be overwhelming. So I can't imagine what else is floating in the air.
But over the past few weeks, the infamous odor has gotten worse.
We had complaints of very strong sewage smells, folks not being able to sleep at night, not being able to open their windows.
So much so, Paula Forbes with the San Diego County Air Pollution Control District received over 150 complaints over the past 10 days. The county says it stems from the Hollister wastewater pump station.
Under our rules, that constitutes a public nuisance, and it's also a violation of state law.
The pump stopped working in June and led to the release of over 300,000 gallons of sewage. Now a violation notice has been issued to the International Water and Boundary Commission to fix it.
This has been going on for 2 years.
Leon Benham leads a campaign called Stop the Stink. His group helped gather the call for complaints.
To try to get our government leaders to look at this and look at what's going on.
He says the lack of containment is best shown along this foam-ridden body of water hidden in the valley.
So the foam is the result of the natural process that sewage goes through.
It's the source of a stench so foul it comes with a warning. And while the valley is home for Priscilla and Gunner, there's a hefty price, and it tends to stink.
There's a huge amount of concern, obviously. I mean, this whole vicinity is depending on that pump working appropriately.
The internet.
Things are not working appropriately, as we can see. Third world country, maybe. Deliberate. Cucumbers recalled for salmonella contamination. Boy, do we have a lot of recalls. We sure do have a lot of recalls of foods. Farms being destroyed, foods being recalled. Truckers have, the subscriber that I'm staying with, her daughter's boyfriend he's a trucker, goes all over the United States, and he's been saying that, oh, it's been very slow lately. So, what you gonna do when they pull the plug and the food, starts really disappearing?
Recalled cucumbers have been linked to hundreds of illnesses here in the States. The FDA announced that they could be contaminated with salmonella. Authorities believe the cucumbers were exposed to untreated canal water in South Florida. Nearly 450 people got sick in 31 states, including Texas. At last check, no deaths have been reported.
Well, that's good. All right, I'm going to post a link to this. I just came across this. I don't, Mountain Mama, is it Living? Never saw this channel before. Mountain Mama Living. And she's talking about and asking those who are watching our video if they have noticed that when it rains, what happens to their garden? What does their garden look like? Because her garden has not been looking so swell. And I know that a lot of you garden. Okay, so here we go. All right. Yes, of course, we have imminent banking crisis, property foreclosures soar. We're in big trouble. Will they pull the plug before the election or after the election? But it's coming, and it's coming soon. So if you want to listen to Lena, the link is in the chat. We are in every aspect of life is collapsing fast. Shopping centers abandoned inside the retail apocalypse. If you want to listen to Economic Ninja, the link is in the chat. But shopping centers, malls, vacancies all over. I've driven around this country. I've lived in small towns, and to see how the small towns have been brought to such they're destitute, they're impoverished, and that's by design. So it's not just small towns. So it's very frustrating when you see the obvious and so many people either don't see it or don't want to see it. Burning Man ticket sale slump. Oh, now I don't know too much about this Burning Man festival in Nevada, but it attracts an awful lot of people, and people have said it's evil and whatever, but apparently ticket sales slump.
Burning Man, the popular gathering that takes place in the Nevada desert and draws thousands every year, is facing slumping ticket sales.
Because people don't have money. But a historic deal. I love these historic deals. Biden-Harris, they announced an historic deal to cut U.S. drug prices. 10 key medicines for older people. 10? Wow. Oh, thank you. Let's bow down. All right. They did this when Biden came into office. It was historic. Lowering the prices of medications. Did it happen? Will this happen? When are Americans going to stop being so pathetic in that they just believe everything? Oh, man. Local subway employees blindsided by sudden closures left without final paychecks.
Well, they were working until suddenly they weren't. More than 200 employees across 23 different Subway restaurant locations in our region are now without jobs.
This after they learned their locations were being shut down unexpectedly. Fox 12's Carly Olson spoke with some of those employees today and tried to find some answers. Carly?
Pete and Nora, I'm here outside of the Subway location in Gladstone, which is off of Southeast McLaughlin Boulevard. And as you can see, the door here is locked. We got the chance to speak to some former employees from this location today who tell us they received no notice, no reasons, and no final paycheck.
No warning, no heads up, no transparency, completely and totally blindsided every one of us.
It's the same sign on the door of each location announcing just a temporary closure. And it's about all that manager Joanne Kennedy knows about the situation.
So a few weeks ago, things just kind of went downhill at a very, very fast rate. Everything was good one day and then our order didn't come, so we didn't have food.
She says they were told the food order was being resolved and to keep working, which they did until the food ran out.
And then our food orders started getting declined.
Another manager, Crystal, says everything finally came to a head last week.
Monday rolled around. It was like, you guys are not getting paid. We don't have any money to pay you.
Nearly 24 other Subway locations from Vancouver to Bend experienced mysterious closures, all of them franchised by Captain Enterprises and Subfecta LLC. Both Joanne and Crystal have reached out to the owners for answers, but all they've been told is to file through the Bureau of Labor and Industries for their final paychecks, which can take up to 100 days to process.
Yeah, I've got a car payment coming up, I've got insurance, I got cell phone bills, like I live paycheck to paycheck, supporting.
But people don't care, okay? Too bad. You'll figure it out, right? Wow, no notice. You show up, the door's closed, you don't get your final paycheck. What the hell, man? Wow, and it's not just corporations that are doing this to people, but small business. And you want a service? Well, you want a contractor? Well, you want some kind of, anything that you want. There's so much fraud out there, and so many people are just taking people's money and then not showing up to do the work. Okay, well, this is a big change. Decades ago, people got the work done. Not anymore. So we're seeing a slip sliding away. If we had morality, collectively speaking, a social contract, right? We don't anymore. We don't anymore. There used to be a time, even prior to the beginning of my life, where, just the shake of the hand was good enough. The word meant something. Well, that became obsolete a long time ago. And why Democrats are pigs? Why? Yeah, Democrats? Caitlin Johnstone, you know full well Republicans are right there with the Democrats in the war mongering and the killing and the psychopathic, get these wars going, keep them going, kill people, we don't care. Republicans, Democrats, there is no difference. So, but if you want to listen to this, the link is in the chat. Yeah, it's... We are 3 days away. We are 3 days away. We are now 1 day away. But what Economic Ninja is saying here, he may very well be right.
Morning, everyone. It happens in 3 days. I did a video about what's coming this next week in Chicago. And instantly, I was knocked back in views and the algorithm sharing out the videos instantaneously. Which brings me, and I have a new news story because a narrative is being built that is very dangerous. And it completely supports my thesis. And, I'm not going to shy away from sharing the truth. And a lot of people want to just ride the fence in life and play it safe because that's the safe space. But I believe that something very dangerous is coming, not only in the markets, but in our nation, as far as our community, and a war coming between two different types of mindsets. Now, I've got to choose my words carefully because honestly, I want to get this video out. But the video I did a couple of days ago was I was sharing a prophecy from 2015 from Kim Clement about an attack coming on a hotel and he said it looked like it was in Chicago during a conference. It looked like the Democratic National Convention. And in 3 days it happens. And I just came across another story that completely is building a narrative of hate and fear. The reason why I put that video out was because I believe something is going to happen. Some kind of riot or something that's going to be incited by the left as an attack on themselves. There are things happening right now that is absolutely blowing my mind. How many people have seen the K-pop video of walking down the stairs from a jet only to have a ton of people cheering her on, and you look in the reflection of the engine cowling and there's nobody there. There's no one in the reflection, yet the photos show people right up to the engine cheering. Or you'll see these conventions where they're she's having a speech, and someone zooms in on all of the footage of people, and people's faces are halved because it was all stitched together. The crowds are stitched together. It's fake. There's nothing happening. But they will stop at nothing, including, in my opinion, like what happened in January of 3 years ago, to incite violence and try and blame people that want to see this country become great, to become stronger, to become better.
All right, I'm going to post a link. You can listen to the remaining 10 minutes, but the DNC starts tomorrow, the convention in Chicago, and we could see a lot of trouble. Oh boy, okay. Taco Bell drive-through, homicide, suicide? A Taco Bell drive-through, homicide, suicide?
Dozens of police responding.
Well, shoot, that hurt my ears, I'm sorry. There was a time when YouTube videos were all pretty much the same volume. The audio was in sync with video after video. Not anymore. Sorry about that.
To a shooting at a local Taco Bell, 2 people died. We've been following this developing news out of Stowe since late last night. Good morning. I'm Tiffany Tarpley.
And I'm John Kosick in for Mike Brookbank. That's where police are investigating what they are calling a murder-suicide at a fast food restaurant drive-thru. Our Mike Holden joins us live this morning with the very latest. Good morning, Mike.
Guys, good morning to you. You know, really just a tragic situation, regardless of how you look at it. But a little after 6 o'clock this morning, all of those police have cleared out of this area, and this is all that is left behind. A makeshift close sign, as well as those 5 traffic cones preventing anyone from going through this Taco Bell drive-thru. Over the last hour, I did reach out to Stowe Police for additional information, asked if there could be a potential press briefing today. Dispatch did not know about the next steps in this investigative process. But according to Taco Bell's website, this store is closed today. The big question, though, what led up to this incident? What was the relationship behind these 2 people? That is still not clear. I want to take you back and show you the most active points of this investigation.
We don't need to see the active points in this investigation. What we do need to see is that the homicide-suicide incidences are rising. And boy, Taco Bell drive-thru. Okay. Any of you remember years ago, there was a document that I probably posted on, but others were posting on. I don't remember what the document was, but they were talking about how, people would be dying in the streets. There'd be a lot of killing of people, and it would become so much that people would be desensitized to life itself. I think we've been there for a very long time. Anybody else remember that in particular? Too much. How about dog attack? Apparently, a woman 56 mauled to death by pack of 25 Great Danes after neighbors warned about beasts being on the loose. All right, so this was in California, popular hiking route, found dead on neighbor's porch. Davina Corbin, 56. 25 Great Danes? What? Okay. That's generally not the kind of dog. Great Danes are known to be the gentle giants. So I've also seen a lot of news stories on dogs attacking people, and not just pit bulls, but, pets turning on their owners. What's happening? You got to wonder if it's about the frequencies. I don't know, but something is definitely happening. This woman was discovered on Black Hawk Trail in Feather Falls, 90 miles north of Sacramento. They captured 23 of the loose Great Dane dogs on the trail. But apparently these dogs have been loose on the trail. Butte County Animal Control. People were calling animal control. They weren't doing anything, so it's unfortunate. The people in the area are very angry that they never did anything, and so somebody gets killed. Nothing's been done about it until now. Wait until somebody gets killed. Well, the Great Danes, they come across the road here at me. I jump into the car. I jumped into the car and left. Great Danes. Okay, well, what? Pack mentality? Massachusetts' latest bill, straight out of George Orwell's 1984. I don't post too much on the crazy lefty crap anymore because I can't take it. But we need to know that it continues, and it continues, and it continues, not just in Massachusetts, but in an awful lot of states around the country, and no agendas stop.
Let's talk about the state of Massachusetts. The Senate of that state has passed a bill erasing the concept of mothers and fathers from birth certificates, replacing them instead with person who gave birth and other parent. That's nice. The advocates for this plan argue this promotes legal parentage equality. The bill will soon be finalised and sent to the governor for approval, James.
Well, Rita, you know, I really can't believe how alt-right and fascist this Massachusetts bill is because, you know, they are totally erasing every parent who identifies as a cat or an otter or an octopus by saying the person who gave birth. What is happening here in the once woke state of Massachusetts? No, seriously, Rita, this is one of these things that is designed, I think it is an absolute attack on the family. It's an attack on the concepts of motherhood and fatherhood, which are both crucial to parenting and to children. And it's like, you know, we're trying to shrink the number of things that we're allowed to say. It's something straight out of George Orwell. This is exactly what the Newspeak was in 1984 that he...
Exactly. Okay, so yes, they are erasing motherhood, fatherhood, families. Oh, yes, okay. Oh, I don't like this world. I don't know about you guys. I do not like this world. What is this? Okay, this just blew my mind. The food industry was purchased by the cigarette industry. I didn't know this. Our food is literally now a science experiment to addict children. In the 1990s, the two largest food companies in the world were R.J. Reynolds, Philip Morris. Wow. I didn't know this. Oh, wow. Okay. One toxic industry gobbles up another. Toxic industry. Wow. Child's diet consists of 70% of ultra-processed foods. You know, I don't know if any of you saw on my Never Lose Truth channel that I posted, I think earlier today, but I do want to play it, just in case you didn't see it.
The baseline condition of health in the United States.
Absolutely. So the word I used earlier, destroyed, is not hyperbolic in any way, shape, or form. 74%.
All right, so you know she's talking about Americans, their health.
Can you just give us the baseline condition of health in the United States?
Absolutely. So the word I used earlier, destroyed, is not hyperbolic in any way, shape, or form. 74% of American adults now are overweight or obese. Close to 50% of children are overweight or obese. 120 years ago, when someone was obese, there were case reports written about it.
Yes.
Literally, there were people in the circus if you had obesity.
Sideshow fat. Yeah, it was so unusual.
It was so unusual. It is now 74% of our country. 77% of young adults are unfit to serve in the military because of these issues like obesity. Now let's talk about diabetes. 50%, a full 50% of American adults have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, which is a fundamental issue in how
Half the country?
half the country, Tucker, have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, and 30% of teens now have prediabetes. This was a condition that no pediatrician would have seen in their lifetime 50 years ago. 1% of Americans in 1950 had type 2 diabetes. We have 18% of teens with fatty liver disease, a disease that used to be in late stage alcoholics. Cancer rates are skyrocketing in the young and the elderly. Young adult cancers are up 79%. And this is the first year in American history we're estimated to have over 2 million cases of cancer. 25% of American women are on an antidepressant medication. 40% of 18-year-olds have a mental health diagnosis. We have the highest infant and maternal mortality rate in the entire developed world, despite spending 2x on infant and maternal care than any other country. So you have a higher risk of dying as a woman giving birth in America than any other developed country in the world. Autism rates in kids are 1 in 36 nationally. This was 1 in 1,500 in the year 2000, and the screening has not changed in California, where I live.
And I just want to linger on that. And the screening has not changed. So
in 20 years,
the definition hasn't changed.
No, 1 in
the incidence has
32
changed.
from 1 in 1,500. In California, 1 in 36. Right now, it was 1 in 1,500. In California, it's 1 in 22. One of the worst states in the country for autism. So this is just a smattering.
What the hell is that?
And all of these conditions. I mean, and I could go on and on. Autoimmune diseases, infertility is at peak rates. I mean, I don't know how this is not front page news. Infertility is going up 1% per year. Sperm counts are going down 1% per year since the 1970s. Sperm counts are down
continuing
50%,
to drop?
continuing to drop.
At an
actively.
increasing rate. Our bodies are crying out for help.
26% of women have polycystic ovarian syndrome. Now, the thing that people need to understand is that all of these conditions are caused or driven by the exact same thing, which is metabolic dysfunction, this core foundational issue of how our bodies on the cellular level function, which is driven by our toxic food system and our toxic environment. These subtle, insidious forces that are creating slow, progressive illness starting now in fetal life that allow patients to be profitable and on the pharma treadmill for their entire lives. They make us sick, but they don't kill us, and then we are drugged for life.
Well, I don't know what I look like, but I just have to do this. It's American exceptionalism. Oh God, do I look horrible. Get the video off. Okay. We're just unbelievably fabulous. Okay, so Americans are in no condition to rise up and fight anything, even if they wanted to. That was my title. This is a 2-hour interview with these people, so you get the comments from people who say, well, she hasn't even mentioned the most obvious, which is the V, right? Okay, listen to the interview. But another comment was how I underestimate Americans. Oh, really? I don't think so. Who can rise up when they feel like crap? All right. Shocking. Jesse Ventura endorses Kamala Harris. Now, there's a reason why. There's a reason why this window is open. Okay? And I'm going to play some of this. But it is pretty shocking considering Jesse Ventura. And if he's not a fan of mine, or I should say I'm not a fan of his, but he's always been, kind of conservative, right? Yeah, well, not anymore.
You're listening to a black guy.
And you want to talk stupidity? It's right here.
I say that, tell you the truth about the oligarchy and how Kamala Harris serves it, along with Bernie Sanders, AOC, and everybody in government. Jesse Ventura came out and endorsed her. So now, I like Jesse Ventura. I've always liked Jesse Ventura. I mostly like it because he sounds like he's eating when he's talking. Doesn't he always sound like he's eating? Why do I want fluoride in my water? So here he is. He's going to tell you why he endorses Kamala Harris.
You were.
By the way, it's time to play blackmail or MK Ultra. I want you to watch this clip of Jesse Ventura sounding 180 degrees from everything you've ever heard him say, and you have to guess, is it blackmail or is it MK Ultra? Here we go.
You were elected governor as a third-party candidate. Why are you supporting the Democratic ticket?
Well, why am I supporting it? I'm doing it for a selfish reason. I've been alive now, I'm 73.
I think it's because he just hates Hulk Hogan. But anyway. I ain't got time to research policy. Anyway.
I've been alive now, I'm 73 years old, so when you look, there's only one election every 4 years now. So I don't know how many more I'm going to see in my lifetime. I had the good fortune of seeing our first black American president, seeing him get elected, President Obama, and re-elected.
Really? That made you feel good to see Barack Obama elected president, and then he went on to do the bidding of Wall Street, the military-industrial complex, Big Pharma, pass a right-wing healthcare plan, kick 5.1 million families out of their homes. He dropped more bombs than George fucking Bush. He did Libya, turned it into a failed state, extended the Afghanistan war, then started bombing Syria. You fucking felt good about that?
No, Jimmy. Yeah. No, he said all the things you said on his conspiracy show that he had Alex Jones on.
I know.
Back in 2008, he said he did not feel good about that.
And that's why. Okay, so now here we go.
Now, my selfish reason is this. I don't want to die and not see a woman president.
But Jesse, what even is a woman? Nobody knows.
You might have had one.
So just any woman, by the way. Not a woman of substance, somebody who's going to help the country and make it better. I don't care if she's a tool of the same motherfuckers that Joe Biden was a tool of, and Barack Obama, and George Bush, and Bill Clinton, and George Herbert Walker. But I don't give a fuck. She's got a vagina. That's all I care about. That sounds crazy. That sounds the opposite of what Jesse used to say. Okay?
It is the opposite. So what's going on here? All right. Wow. I had the good fortune of seeing the first black American president, and I just want to see a woman. Oh, I clearly have lost a lot of brain cells, but that's, you actually, what was that? Dan something, News Nation, Dan Abrams. Yeah, well, Dan also lost some brain cells to have Jesse Ventura on his show to interview him, and I want to see a woman. Oh my God! Idiocy. Idiocracy. We're done for. We're done for. So, I want you to listen to this. Listen carefully. And I'm going to post a link. Oh, I wanted to post a link too. You can listen to the full commentary, Jimmy Dore. The link is in the chat. And the link, when the public panics, you have 6 days to get to safety. Lynette Zhang. Oh. The link is in the chat because I'm not going to play the full 32 minutes, but I'm going to play certainly the beginning. And, well, maybe that's enough to entice you to listen to more, because what are they talking about? Community.
Public to go into that crisis mode. Everybody is on alert because we don't know what the trigger is for the public to go into that crisis mode. And that's when it gets really, really dangerous. I think that once the public starts to...
I just want to say that the public, okay, so when we talk about shit hits the fan, we're talking about everyone, right? Experiencing the same crap that hits the fan. Do you know that millions upon millions upon millions upon millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of Americans have already experienced this, and they are part of the public, and more every single day are in crisis mode? But there's still a whole lot of comfortable people, and, well, they get marginalized. No matter how big is the population of people in crisis mode, survival mode, being destroyed, getting destroyed, already destroyed, not being able to pay their bills, yada, yada, yada. No matter how big that portion of the population gets, if there's still enough comfortable people who don't want to hear it, they get marginalized. And eventually, well, a whole lot of people explode. No community, no way to, people are, they don't want to ask for help. They feel embarrassed. They feel shamed, because a whole lot of Americans do the judgment thing. Well, when you lose everything and you need help, and you've been judging people who have needed help, you'll get to know what it feels like. So, they're talking about the importance of creating community before the crisis hits. That should have, well, a whole lot of people were talking about it for years. Create that community, so that you can rely on others. Where is that happening?
Panic. I think we have about 6 days to get to wherever it is that we're going to go. Everybody is on alert because we don't know what the trigger is for the public to go into that crisis mode. And that's when it gets really, really dangerous. I think that once the public starts to panic, I think we have about 6 days to get to wherever it is that we're going to go. It is.
And good afternoon, everyone. Today with me, Lynette Zhang. We've had a couple of talks before, always on finance. The
relationship, if they came to you when you couldn't get food out there and you knew who they were because they created...
I'm sorry for jumping along. I thought he was going to go into an ad. But yeah, she's dead on when she talks about this. And he talks about it as well.
Prepare ourselves so when their problem arises, you're just like, okay, this is my next step. I've already planned it.
And let me ask you something with your farm. If somebody came to you and said, hey, can I volunteer on your farm for a day's worth of work? Right? That's all I want to do is I want to learn how to do this, or I want to help you out, and created that relationship. If they came to you when you couldn't get food out there and you knew who they were because they created community with you versus somebody that you did not know who they are, who are you going to share the excess food that you have with?
The person who's worked with you before the crisis arose, because the crisis arising is just a bunch of vultures coming in because they know you have resources. And plus, the trust is a big thing with me anyway. Not, okay, on a personal side level, trusting people and friendships, okay, that's one thing. But to actually trust somebody enough to allow them to come out and live on your land. I talked with Jim Gale. He runs Food Forest Abundance down in Florida. And they have a bunch of Airbnbs and different kind of things. If you want to work, you can stay at this one for free. And they have lodging for you to stay down there. But to have people on here to trust them to come in, because what Jim told me was out of the hundreds of people they had like 3 different problem people where they're suddenly like, well, I don't have any place to go. I can't really leave. Can I just stay another day or whatever? And eventually they had to like throw these people out because even in the calm times, you're going to get people who want to stick around that really don't have anywhere else to go. So if you're looking at it from this thing, your number one factor is what kind of skill set do they have?
Exactly.
And is there any way to double check or background check them to be, if you're like, hey, I just want to background check and make sure you don't have a criminal record, at least just put your name in Google and I can see, obviously there's all those kind of report sites now. Like, how do you trust is my whole thing, is because when people get on the land, not so much here, because our like squatting laws are very tough here. You can't squat anything here pretty much. And all I have to do is get a contract and give it to you, Lynette, and you move in and kick those people out. So here that's a no-go. Like California, very different, but here. But how do you get people out that, they got to have the skills. You got to be able to trust them. They need to be not drug users. Yeah, I'm a fan of, glass of wine here, but no drugs. And tobacco, not much either, like if you have these addictions that are going to grab onto you during these times, it can be very, very, very difficult to just go cold turkey of something that you've been using. I've been trying to wean myself off alcohol too. It's been a years plus long journey down to the point I don't really drink anymore at all.
All right. So they do discuss important points, but, and I've said this before, don't announce, don't publicize what you have if you've been prepping, because that will leave you subject to having your bounty perhaps stolen, or a whole lot of people coming asking you for things that if you don't know them, it's going to be wild, man. It's really going to be wild. So they're talking about you create the community, you establish the relationships, based on honesty. You speak honestly, you live honestly, you are a trustworthy human being, you're reliable, your behavior is consistent, you establish those relationships before finding yourself in crisis. That's, for the 13 years that I've been on YouTube, now I'm into the 14th year, I will tell you, I've said it a lot, other people have said it, and I don't see it happening to, with an awful lot of communities. Everybody is pretty much on their own, and the communities that have started, I've seen them just get destroyed over stupid little immature crap that adults can't seem to resolve. Wow. Okay. So, now I came across this Tim Truth, insane CIA media control program to make people commit immoral acts or crash vehicles. Wow. I will link below. Yeah, we are seeing the most bizarre behavior. We are seeing very violent behavior. We are seeing people road rage and coming out and shooting people. We're seeing an awful lot of crashes, for sure, and erratic behavior. The kind of behavior that was so rare before that it would shock people. Nothing shocks anybody. Everybody's become so desensitized to all of the violence, all of the crime taking place, all of the craziness, until you experience it yourself. Then it becomes shocking again. So here we go.
Check out this declassified secret project from the CIA, a predecessor to MKUltra. This is called Project Bluebird. They try to use subconscious isolation and hypnotic techniques, aka SI and H techniques, to achieve the following. Can accurate information be obtained from willing or unwilling individuals? Can we induce a hypnotic condition in an unwilling subject such that he will perform an act for our benefit, even when against his moral principles? Could we seize a subject and by post-hypnotic control have him crash an airplane, wreck a train, etc.? Can we by subconscious isolation and hypnotic techniques force a subject to travel long distances, commit specified acts, and return to us or bring documents or materials? Can we devise a system for making unwilling subjects into willing agents, and then transfer that control to untrained agency agents in the field by use of codes or identifying signs or credentials? What would be the fastest way to induce SI and H conditions with drugs? Can we find a gas that can be used to gain SI control from a gas pencil, odorless, colorless, one shot, etc.?
Oh, wow. Okie dokie. Well, Tim Truth, the most powerful mind control ever versus you, machine learning, social media expose. I will post the link, and this is happening. Okay, so I think a lot of the crazy behavior, violent behavior, the kind of people behaving in ways that we would never have seen before. Oh, well, are they being remotely controlled? Perhaps they are.
And now we're transitioning to a whole new form of technology. Social media and search engines, and extremely knowledgeable and cunning AI chatbots. Most people don't even realize what's happening at this point. When you log on to YouTube, when you log on to Twitter, when you log on to Facebook, people don't understand why the signals that are being sent into their brain are being sent into their brain. And the reason why the signals are being chosen are because these machine learning systems are optimizing for whatever the company tells them to optimize for. And that involves hyper-personalization. So it's taking the concept that I just described for cable news to the max. And you don't have to fill out any form, you don't have to answer any questions, based purely on the media you're consuming, based purely on what you scroll past and what you click on and what you watch, for how long you watch it. They're able to read your mind and then steer your mind, unless you are smart about it. And even then, I don't even know if it's possible to be unmanipulatable by this technology. Perhaps at this point, but looking 10 years, 20 years into the future, we really need to be getting off-ramps and building our own technology that optimizes for something else, or that doesn't optimize for anything at all. So what does it mean to optimize? Well, typically in this sense, an optimization will either be a maximization or a minimization.
Everything on the internet, everything that you research, all the videos that you watch, they have your profile and they send you information. You. Personal you. To keep you entranced, however you have become entranced. Anyway, hey. No. Oh, God. All right, hang on. Sorry. Little one just came in and it sounded like he was about to throw up. I wish he would just stay outside and do that, but hey, a cat is a cat is a cat. All right, so yeah. Okay, so we are living a very different time, rather unprecedented time, and it's not fun, it's not fun at all. And when we see these kinds of behavior, mother and her 6 children killed in Israeli strike. Okay, this continues, and it continues, and it continues, and we are seeing the most egregious genocide unfold 24/7 every single day right in front of our face. Desensitized, a whole lot of people are. They are desensitized, they don't feel it, they just go on, they live their life, and they render life meaningless. And that's what pisses me off. People are really suffering in the Palestinians. You look at all of the weather warfare, and people are really suffering. Elderly being put out on the street because they can't afford the rent increases. So many people who are, coming down with an awful lot of medical issues. We've just become decent. It's overwhelming, and I understand that. But, that's why I continue to say that we need to get out in our communities and help those in need. You find out where the elderly are, you check up on them, you ask them if they need something, you extend yourself, you get out there. That's what the world needs. Gaza is a method. So it is a method, and it's part of the depopulation. All of these wars are a part of the depopulation agenda. And so, as far as I'm concerned, so is all of the murders that are taking place. If you can remotely control individuals to get into a rage, over somebody that's driving the way you don't like, and you get out and you take out your gun and you start shooting, them, a whole lot of people are getting killed. Road rage? Are you kidding? Okay. All of the home intrusions, everything that's taking place. All right. The list is very, very long. And as far as I'm concerned, this is also part of the depopulation agenda. Because when you look at the scale, just in our country alone, the scale of violence that is taking place, the scale of murder that is taking place, a whole lot of people are getting killed off. So, Solari report.
How many ways can you engineer and market control and depopulation? And they're trying to make it look subtle. And they're trying to make look, it's not us, it's not the leadership, it's not the empire, it's not the establishment. And they're trying to make it look complicated and diverse and, this is complicated and this is an accident and this is a mistake and we didn't really do it. It was Israel, not the United States. But make no mistake about it, this is a marketing plan, and it's very integrated. It's
absolutely integrated through 4 different beachheads that we've covered just in this show. Right. We had food, we've had energy, right? We have health with injections, and we have money.
Right.
It's all tending toward the same thing, which is more surveillance, more control.
Right. And one of the things, whatever's going on in Serbia, I think the Serbians are clear. They don't want that totalitarianism back. Right.
Yeah, war.
They don't want it back, and they got to do something. And I think it's much harder in the United States and the Western world to realize it's really this bad, and we're going to have to push back. But that's what we want everyone to understand. This is not a mistake. It's not an accident. It's not complicated. It is what it is. And that's why it's really important that we deal with it.
Yeah. In other words, even if you've got some doubt about Gaza, you should assume that this is a plan to protect yourself. Because if you got to start playing a game of what if I'm wrong? So even if you think that Gaza is just some innocent operation, you play the game of what if I'm wrong and it actually is intentional, it actually is a plan. What does that mean for me? It means big trouble. It means you better start taking care of business at home.
Well, it was really funny when we were in Iceland, we had a Q&A section. Andrew Bregan spoke and then I spoke. We had one of the local farmers spoke and we had a Q&A section. And there were many questions about the various candidates. And I kept trying to explain, look, if they're not going to, if they're going to allow this group of people to do Gaza or Ukraine or all the different, what do you think they're going to allow them to do with the U.S. Treasury and you?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So there's a need to, there's a disassociation between what's going on around the world and what they're going to do on home base. And we need to find a way of integrate that and deal with it at a day-to-day and tactical level. It's coming here. I mean, it's here now. It's more settled, but it's.
No, the chickens are coming home to roost, and they're
exactly.
here now, and it's going on now.
Right.
You see that in the wind farm stories.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
It is here now. And it's only going to grow. It's only going to get more intense. And it's only going to be affecting more and more people. The military operations that are taking place are pretty, wow. They're widespread. They've got different agendas they work, and but if Christians can be for what's happening to the Palestinians, the Christian Zionists, can you imagine? Oh, that is such just a woof. I can't even put myself in the shoes of anybody who supports, the killing of children, the killing of innocent people, the abject genocide, torture that is taking place. We've got a lot of them in our country. They're psychopathic. They could turn on you for anything. They're all over. At least one killed from bomb in Tel Aviv as Blinken arrives in Israeli city. And if anybody thinks that the Palestinians should never retaliate and just submit, bow down to the killing that is taking place, they really need to reevaluate their thinking, I think. Okay, so, but yeah, again, every night, I show just clips, and it's not, all of the clips that I've come about that I have captured for the day or have seen.
Lisa, you
what is happening? Wow, the violence that is taking place. 3 people arrested in connection with a Queens home invasion.
Family was aggressively woken up and attacked by 3 men who broke in through a window.
I just woke up and I just came out and I just see yellow tape. I'm like, what happened? And then I just wasn't expecting this to happen.
It happened at around 2 in the morning in the vicinity of Marathon Parkway and Coleman Avenue. Police say the perpetrators were carrying a gun and 2 hammers, one which was used to hit a 43-year-old man in the foot. 8 people were inside the home during the violent invasion, including a 1-year-old girl.
It's terrified to learn what happened last night, but I say the neighborhood is very quiet and peaceful.
Once police officers arrived, they found a woman who managed to escape holding a baby in her arms. 6 other family members, including a 13-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl, were still being held hostage. One of the suspects allegedly punched a 71-year-old woman in the face. Neighbors are stunned to hear this.
I've been here for quite a while. I can't remember how long, but to learn that happened in the neighborhood is very shocking.
According to.
And who was it? Who did this? Okay, how about Port St. Lucie? This is in Florida. Kindergartner allowed to leave school alone and goes missing for 25 minutes.
Grade school until his father-in-law found him walking alone nearly a mile away.
He found him right in front of a little vacant lot up the road.
Almost home?
Just almost home, walking on his own.
How long would you say he walked for?
He was probably walking for a good 35, 40 minutes.
He turned to us looking for answers, saying that Jackson was registered as pickup, but that he and his wife may walk Jackson home from time to time.
So who do we hold accountable for this?
School board hold us accountable.
I took parent concerns to Jack Kelly, a school board member with St. Lucie Public Schools, who says the issue was, quote, ambiguous instructions about how Jackson would be getting home.
Do you know what's being done to kind of fix this from happening?
Exactly, I don't know. I don't think the procedures we have already were followed.
Kelly told me they are investigating what went wrong with the paperwork and who let Jackson leave without a parent present.
It's okay, buddy.
As for Jackson,
We gave him the day off today because he's been a little overwhelmed. He's had a hard time with it.
Critelli says,
what is going on, man? Stanley County pastor charged with not reporting child sex crimes. Okay, how about the beach doesn't belong to a single person? Another beach. So an awful lot of people who own property on beaches have suddenly decided that they don't want the public anymore. I mean, I've shown on live streams beaches in California. Last night it was a beach in Maine, and now this is another beach. I believe, no, this beach is in Florida.
Just took a turn after a federal judge sides with the town instead of private property owners. News Channel 8's Nicole Rogers has the story.
Wet sand and dry sand, it's not something you'd typically hear in court, but let me explain. The people who live here in Redington Beach don't own the water, but the area they do own is this portion of the dry sand over here. A judge ruled, however, even though this is their property, the public still has access to it. John and Robin Durdzinski walk along Redington Beach every day.
The beaches should be accessible to all, whether you're local like we are, or whether you're a tourist.
They're in favor of this 53-page ruling, where a judge is now siding with the town of Redington Beach.
The beach doesn't belong to a single individual or a single person or a single family. It belongs to the community.
It's kind of an interesting concept that even though it's someone else's property, the public can still use it.
Attorney John.
It's called an easement, okay? Get over it. Road rage suspect accused of firing 13 shots at woman and child. Oh, and look, he's so embarrassed he's hiding his face.
Big story on Action News tonight is a terrifying encounter playing out on a busy highway in Delaware County. A man accused of firing more than a dozen shots yesterday on Westchester Pike appeared in court earlier today. 30-year-old Sean Moses is facing attempted homicide charges. Police say a woman and her 10-year-old nephew were in the car that was shot at. Action News reporter Annie McCormick working the details. She's in Haverford with the very latest. Annie.
When Sean Moses went before the district justice earlier this afternoon, she held him on a very high bail at $1 million. He now faces attempted murder and aggravated assault charges.
Oh, wow. Wow. When's the last time you heard bail set at that amount for a criminal? People are losing their minds. They're losing their flippin' minds. Disabled boy abused. Morality. What happened to it?
Only on Fox 11 tonight, troubling revelations about a home health care worker accused of mistreating a disabled teenage boy. Fox 11's Ed Laskos live in Fountain Valley with details. Ed.
And Christine, it is disturbing video, and it is that video that alerts a family to something they had no idea was happening in their very own home. A home care nurse hired to take care of their disabled teenager, now the target of a growing investigation. Watch. Disturbing video. A home care nurse appears to be abusing, roughing up her disabled teenage patient. Check this as she tries to get him through the front door. A chop to his arm. All as the mother of that teenager now chokes back tears.
And we had her for 8 years. I mean, I trusted her in our home, and I trust pretty much everybody who's in our home, and you can't expect it.
How could you ever expect this? Showing up on your security video involving Luke. He's 15 years old. He's born with half a heart, now severely disabled. All at the mercy of anyone that just survived, never mind being physically abused.
He's nonverbal. He literally can't speak. He can't defend himself. He can't stop anything that's going on. He can't tell me what's going on. And that's the unfortunate part.
Through the years, Luke has been left with all types of bruises, his family thinking they may have been self-inflicted, easily bruising because of his medication. But this video, it changes everything.
I never would have thought it was her.
Yeah, now you find out it may have been intentional.
Yeah, it just completely changed like a lot throughout the years. Like a lot what happened, it makes a lot more sense.
The family.
You see how people are not right? People aren't right. How about the dumping of patients that continues to go on?
Displace you from where you were.
No, I did not. In this body camera video from January, you can hear a wheelchair-bound man tell a Lakeland police officer that he did not ask to be taken to Talbot House Ministries. The man was discharged from a mental health facility.
A nurse came out and helped him out of the wheelchair. Helped put his wheelchair in the back, helped me get him in the car.
This Uber driver says the healthcare facility paid for an Uber to drop the patient off.
7 drop-offs in 1 week. I have everything documented.
Talbot House Ministries Director of Programs, Deborah Cosetti, is keeping track of the number of times a hospital dropped off a patient at the Lakeland homeless shelter. She tells me it's happened 64 times so far this year.
Called patient dumping.
Already over capacity. We're 120% over capacity. We have people sleeping on the dining room floors at night and mats and cots and everything.
This patient dumping has triggered an investigation by the Florida Agency for Healthcare Administration.
Did you want them to displace you from where you were?
Oh, we gotta face the fact that no, we're not a good people. I'm sorry. When you talk about individuals, yes, there are individuals who are good, solid souls. But on the whole, Americans are not a good people. Until that truth is faced, we will continue on down this road. I know a lot of people don't like to hear it.
I need you to take a moment and just imagine this: trusting a daycare to watch your 4-year-old and then learning that an employee there punished your child by making him stand on his tiptoes while squatting. That scenario played out at an Atascosa County facility, and the boy, according to state records, was forced to hold that position for possibly as long as 30 minutes.
It hurts and it gets me angry because it's not appropriate for him to be disciplined or any child to be disciplined in that manner, no matter what they do.
KSAT investigates still in college.
And that's pretty obvious, right? Right. This is what adults do to children. Metro Detroit woman on rollerblades saves 7-year-old niece from abductors.
She stepped in as a man tried to run off with her 7-year-old niece.
I could not let her go. There's no way I could have let her go.
Her harrowing story is the man charged with trying to abduct that girl faces a judge.
I've gone over the charges.
Getting our first look at security camera video of that terrifying encounter.
Take a look. This is the suspect right there, Andy Bala from Shelby Township. He is accused of not only trying to abduct this 7-year-old, but also a 15-year-old earlier in the day in Clinton Township. Let's get out to Sean Lay live this evening. Sean, the video of this attack is so terrifying.
It is absolutely terrifying, but we all really need to see it. I asked the aunt who saved the 7-year-old little girl, her niece, this was the real deal. She says, this was the real deal, a child abduction, and it was her niece. I said, what did you do? She said she jumped through the driver's side window here, grabbed onto the steering wheel and the alleged abductor, tried to fight him off. And I said, what were you saying to him the whole time? You've got to listen to this.
He was screaming. I could hear him say, let go, let go, let go. It was very broken. He said something at the end, but I just kept, and I were just connected, and I just kept telling her to fight, go, go, don't give up, go. And we just, thank God we were just on that. We just were so connected, and she fought for her life. I don't know.
Her name is Alicia. She is a hero. You can see, you can feel the intensity in her eyes. She is the aunt you see in this shocking video. her 7-year-old niece ripped off her bike by this man, stuffing her in his car. Alicia was on rollerblades. She was not going to let him take that little girl. What did you do?
When I saw him going towards her, I booked it on my rollerblades, and I just prayed that I would not fall, and I dove through the driver window. He was grabbing her and throwing her in the passenger side and trying to climb over her, and we both just fought for the steering wheel, and I just snaked my arm in as far as I could so that I could not fall out of the car because I just didn't know. I didn't know what was happening, and I just could not let her go.
That accused kidnapper, his name is Andy Bala. He was officially charged late this afternoon in Macomb County.
Okay, you have kids, you have grandkids, you have nieces, nephews. Watch them. Children and adults are actually being abducted all over the country pretty much on a daily basis now. You know, when they pay people like this guy, who has no moral core, who's psychopathic, he can rip a child from a bicycle and abduct them and traffic them. That's what it's about. And they get paid good money to do it. So that's why it's happening more and more and more. Parents, teachers angry over elevated lead levels in drinking water at Oakland School in California. Lead levels, we're still dealing with that, really, in drinking water? Government's failing us. Man goes erratic in quiet neighborhood. It doesn't end well. People are losing it.
Compton?
Stay home.
What's going on? What's wrong?
No. You're wrong.
What's wrong?
Bro, because I'm a Compton motherfucker, bro. And you want me to dance for you? Huh?
Why do you want to dance for?
I'm a real motherfucker.
You lost your flip-flop.
Huh?
You lost your flip-flop.
Man, that flip-flop.
Okay.
Fuck this flip-flop. Man, fuck this flip-flop. Man, 'cause I'm a real motherfucker.
Are you?
Huh?
Don't come at me like that, dude.
No.
Don't come at me, dude.
No.
Do not come at me.
Whatever you want.
All right, the link is in the chat if you want to. This just goes on, but the guy is either on something or just lost it, whatever. Okay, so knife-wielding burglar assaults pregnant woman, takes off with items from home in Houston's East End. This guy just broke into the house.
Fine scene for this pregnant woman. Her husband says that the suspect jumps over that back fence, lands into their backyard. Suddenly, he finds himself on their back porch, looks around for a second, then comes down this alleyway, sees this window right here, pulls off the mesh, and opens it up. Now, follow me as we go inside the house because it just took the suspect seconds to get inside. And once inside, he's standing right here. And it doesn't take long to realize that there's a little one inside this home. In fact, the victim in this case is 8 months pregnant.
Where's the money?
Show me where this perp did this.
Yeah, sure.
Things aren't going very well. Right, yeah. North Texas UPS driver passes out behind the wheel due to heat. Again, I'm going to say the heat is very different now. You feel like you're being microwaved. I would think North Texas, Arizona, those states are really dealing with very different heat from what I've heard from my subscriber in Arizona. Very different heat. Like you can't be in it for more than 2 minutes. So, if it was heat related, then I would say that the frequencies are also in play. Passes out. There's so much that we are subjected to now. All of the poisons. That we can't point to any one cause of the symptoms that we are experiencing now. We don't know what we're breathing in. We don't know what we're drinking. We don't know what we're eating. And everything that we do know, that's enough for us to know that they could be adding an awful lot that makes, the combination of everything far more toxic. Phoenix apartment complex without AC offers renters an apology and discounts. Okay, that's good. But I'm going to link below to this. This is on MPOX. And it was a video that was shared to me by a subscriber, but you can read it. I don't think I can say it. Not on YouTube. Have you read it? Just a few more seconds. Read it. Because they can, with electromagnetic frequencies, set off a whole lot. I'm trying to be very careful of my language. Set off an awful lot that is inside us now to make us die. And they can call it anything and people will believe it. And you know that that's true. All right. More people are being stabbed in the UK, and I will say that there's an awful lot of people who are being stabbed in the United States. Okay. Especially in New York City. That's where I'm seeing a lot. But yesterday in Peterborough, 2 boys and 1 man were stabbed. 1 boy is in critical condition. It is thought that the attackers may be foreigners. UK is rotting. And the English are being imprisoned for free speech. How dare you speak freely? How dare you? Must be hell living in the UK. It's hell living everywhere. All right, you complain, you get arrested. And another shocking video coming out of Peterborough, which it's not so shocking because I've seen so many videos of England with all of the Muslims taking over streets and praying.
Oh my.
But, the UK, not just England, is really being taken over. A woman has been stabbed to death in Crawley Station car park. Police were called at 7:10 a.m. this morning. Another stabbing. 26-year-old man has been arrested. Young woman stabbed to death after fight with a man near the train station. Oh, this is the Metro report on it. Lots of stabbings that are taking place, right? The UK is a country, well, several countries, that I don't recognize anymore. I can't imagine what those in the UK who live there are experiencing. Yeah, after combing through the area, officers discovered the victim in a car park with multiple stab wounds and, excuse me, oh, she was treated by paramedics, but they could do nothing to save her. Declared dead at the scene. And they don't mention the name. They only mention the age of the person who did the stabbing. Right? Right. 3 stabbings in Peterborough and 1 in Edinburgh that I have seen in the last 5 minutes on here. It is literally an everyday occurrence. Up to March 2024, there had been around 50,000 incidents involving knives in 2024. Would hate to guess what the figure currently stands at. I can't verify that number. I can't confirm it. But things are not going well. A man lost his hand in a terrifying machete attack in East Kilbride, Scotland. Witnesses reported the attacker was a foreigner. Not good, right? Obviously. Oh, and this was sent to me. This was Connecticut. Newtown, Connecticut. Flooding. So, yeah, we've got an awful lot going on. And while we can't stop all of these agendas, and we can't change anybody but ourselves, we need to change ourselves in our communities. That's where we have control, and it's your choice every day. It's your choice. You can become a better person or not. That's your choice. And yeah, we need that. We need people helping one another. A whole lot of people are suffering. The social engineers broke apart community. We know that. We've known that for a very, very, very long time. Years and years and years and years. So why haven't we done some social engineering to reverse that? That's what we need to do. So, I really appreciate all of you showing up. I hope to see you tomorrow night. And stay safe. Let's just check out these, okay, here it is. Ooh, Arkansas. It doesn't look pretty. Neither does this line in Georgia and Alabama. But hell, even these little supercells here in the corner of Utah, opening up in Idaho, can cause tremendous damage. Tremendous damage. Live weather. Severe weather map. All right, so we have severe weather still ongoing. Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Montana, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, and Utah. Just what I said. See? Little itty bitty supercells activated in Utah. Severe weather. Be very careful. Stay safe. Get out there. Help people. Do what you can, especially when people are suffering from these severe weather events. You know, they become dislocated. They are really having a hard time, and I know it. So, all right, guys. Do what you can. Hope to see you tomorrow night. And on that note, I say, good night and good luck. Ciao, guys.